Well, tonight, Donald Trump headlining his first rally since Kamala Harris's presumptive rise to the top of the Democratic ticket. And if this rally was any indication, it's going to be a long and bitter campaign. Listen.
If Kamala Harris gets in, she would be the most radical far-left extremist ever to occupy the White House times 10. There's never been a lunatic like this in the White House.
Her name, first of all, is Kamala, not Kamala. Oh, wait, no, it's the way otherwise. It's Kamala, not Kamala. You get that, right? She's been the vice president of the United States for almost 4 years, and something tells me he knows exactly how to pronounce her name. Joining me now, former Trump White House Deputy Press Secretary Sarah Matthews, reporter for Politico, and Alex Eisenstat, also in Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign manager. Roby, look, I'm entrusting everyone's name right now just to prove the point that everyone's name was quite clear to everyone listening today, right? Let me bring you in here, Sarah, though, because Trump said it himself tonight that everyone seemed to expect a change in his tone following a tragic and devastating to the nation near assassination attempt. But that's not what he delivered tonight. It seemed to be a reversion back to the earlier days.
No, it was pretty funny watching him say that everyone wanted him to be nice, and he says, I'm not going to be nice. And that goes against exactly what his campaign told us the tone was going to be moving forward in his campaign. We were told that he was going to be softer, more unifying. And then we all saw that RNC convention acceptance speech, and that wasn't the Trump that he delivered. And then in this speech tonight, we saw him say things like, that the Democrats stole the election, that it was rigged, and moving forward with this divisive rhetoric. And I think it just goes to show that he hasn't changed at all whatsoever. So not even an attempt on his life will do that. He's always going to be Trump. And so no matter how much wish casting the Trump campaign tries to compel him to be this unifier, that's just not who he is.
And by the way, the crowd seemed to love it. When they were feeding off of him saying, I'm not going to be nice tonight, they were roaring with applause, and he's somebody to feed off the crowd. There's also this mispronunciation thing, Robbie. And of course, I jokingly called you Roby, but obviously it's Robbie. But, you know, you're a 2016 Hillary Clinton campaign alum. Did you pick up on just how many times he had actually mispronounced Harris's name? I mean, our producer counted, 41 times during his speech tonight. I mean, how should she counter him? Should she even try to address it?
Yeah, I think this is best left to others. You know, this is a trap he wants to set with her. And it's interesting because he wants her to start to make this about her, and she needs to make it about the voters, right? This, what's in it for them? That's really important for her in this introductory period. It's incumbent on her to, first of all, introduce herself and tell her story, but then explain what's in it for people. We know prices are high. There's a lot of uncertainty about the economy in the world. So she's got to explain what's in it for them. And I would not take the bait on this. And I know this team really well. I don't think they're going to.
It would be taking the bait. And turn to Alex on this because I'm sure he wants to get into a discussion on name calling and kind of a tit for tat, rolling in the mud, so to speak, which can distract you from the mission and purpose. But he did eventually pivot his way back to the teleprompter. And in those moments, he did talk about the policy issues. Listen to this.
Kamala has been more unhinged than her wild pursuit of open borders. She cast the tie-breaking votes that created the worst inflation in a half a century. If you want socialist health care, nation-wrecking inflation, the death of American energy, and a lying radical left liberal San Francisco extremist as your commander-in-chief, then Kamala Harris is your candidate. She's the one for you.
I mean, that sentence was chock full of so many different policy positions and talking points. I do wonder, the name calling aside, and that's one thing that he's trying to do, but is this the policy issue where you think the rubber might meet the road?
Well, he's been trying to attack her on any number of policy issues. He's trying to take Joe Biden, who clearly was less popular, clearly at this point less popular than Kamala Harris, and he's trying to attach her to him on any number of issues that are part of the Biden administration. So he's trying to take immigration, and really he's trying to hone in on that. He had a call with reporters yesterday. We talked specifically about immigration. So that's clearly sort of a focal point. But there's also, what you also saw in that clip was a real lack of focus. It's not totally clear to me at least, how he's trying to go after Harris at this point. There's no real clear argument. So you're seeing some of immigration, you're seeing some other issues being thrown in there. He's saying she's soft on crime, but it doesn't feel like they've really found the sharp message that they found when they were running against Biden, which was that he lost his mental acuity, he lost his step, and he had been ineffective. It doesn't feel like they've quite found that message to use against her yet.
I find that so surprising for so many reasons, Sarah. Not because I think there are the laundry list of reasons to attack her, but because they had been asking or saying that Biden should not be running any longer. If you just were to follow that thread a centimeter, the next conclusion would be that she possibly would be the presumptive nominee. Did they really not think that there had to be a message or a strategy as it relates to the vice president?
Yeah, I mean, you would think that they'd be better prepared for this moment, and kudos to them because clearly their messaging about Biden worked. The voters believed it. They thought that Joe Biden was too old to do the job and continue for another 4 years and seek a second term. And so you would think then that the Trump campaign would have been prepared to take her on as a candidate. And they kind of kept saying in their messaging before Biden dropped out, I think in the months leading up to this, they were saying, oh, well, you're really voting for Kamala Harris. And so then you would think that they would have their lines of attack ready to go, or commercials, or more poll testing on what the message is that is best used against her, because as Alex noted, it just kind of seems like they're throwing whatever at the wall and seeing what sticks right now.
And again, trying to rev up the base in a campaign rally, different than trying to rev up the base in a general election and what might actually resonate with them. But Robbie, let me ask you, because there was this illuminating policy moment of sorts where Trump revealed where he stands today on abortion. Listen to this.
I happen to support the 3 exceptions: rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think that's the way. But follow your heart. But you also have to remember, you have to get elected. You have to remember, because we have elections, and elections are about a lot of other things too that are very important.
But remember, follow your heart. I don't follow that particular logic. Was he trying to undermine his own statement? I mean, we know that just at the last week's RNC, reproductive rights was not even talked about all that much. He knows, though, that this issue is not a winning one, particularly for him. Could you decipher the code that he was trying to say?
Yeah, well, he's trying to have it both ways. Look, he gave the extreme right wing what they wanted, which is they wanted to get rid of Roe v. Wade. States now can pass whatever laws they want, not according to the limitations he just laid out. No, they don't have to have exceptions. So, he's undermining his own policy right there. And he's doing it because he knows how unpopular it is. And, it's interesting, you were talking about him mentioning policy. I think this election is going to be about culture. It's going to be about, some big lies, some big myths. There's not going to be a lot of policy details. I think this is one place where policy is really going to matter. And these sorts of details leave him very vulnerable. This is a critical issue in this election. And I think one of the many things we gain by having Kamala Harris now as our candidate is someone who can really speak to this issue even more powerfully than Joe Biden could. And you just heard it right there. Trump's scared, so he's trying to roll it back. He's trying to spackle it over. But the facts speak for themselves.
I wonder if hedging in politics will work in this campaign. Thank you all. Robbie Mook, Sarah Matthews, Alex Einstein. I pronounced all of your names correctly. The point has been made. Thank you.